on 2-3 modules from Volter course from Ultimate Investors. No previous experience, never done anything to do with business acquisition, but we managed to push through legals and due diligence. And then a few days before completion, after I spoke to Volter, and I already had an idea that the way we structured this deal was not ideal, but he just confirmed everything I thought, and that helped us to restructure the deal. And on the 23rd of October 2024, we bought a small business with the revenue, and it was slightly under 700, but I just put 700,000. Just moving very quickly through the whole year from 11 months. At this stage, we achieved the growth in terms of revenue is actually over 200%, but it's around 200% from where we started. I will speak about this later on in the deal. Thank you. The aim to exit is by around 2028, maybe 2029. Currently, our profit will be circa 800, maybe 900,000. The profit we need is around 3.5 million. So we're not that far, considering that we started with 200,000 profit. So our profit went 4 times fold, nearly 4.5 in just 1 year, with the multiplier of 7 and exiting with 24 million, and capital event is 24 million. My name is Lucas, you all know me. I prepared a presentation just to show my journey in our first business acquisition this year. As you all know, I work together with Lisa, so I think pretty much 90% of all of you know her already. She's not here, so I will just speak on behalf of myself in here. I don't know if you know, but my background origin is medical, so I used to work in hospitals for many years. I've been on a very comfortable salary, but I always sell time for money. So it's always you're there Saturday, Sunday, on calls and so on. And then COVID started, and I started to rethink my future and thinking maybe there's a different way of moving forward. And then I decided to invest in a property course. And the influence behind it also comes from Volter. Volter did one of those courses before. And I saw his YouTube video and thinking, oh my God, if this guy did this, maybe I can do it too. And then I started. I met Lisa there on the property course, became one of the top graduates within this course, and then we decided to work together. We had an opportunity to move to Cyprus, which worked superbly well. We have a small portfolio down there, which generates around 15,000 euros every single month. But we've noticed at some point also with Volter guidance that moving for properties is great long term, but it's slow. So I still remember talking to Volter a long time ago when he said, oh my God, Lucas, it take you forever to get there. Why don't you do the businesses? And then Volter introduced this module on the Ultimate Investor, which me and Lisa started to work on, purely focused on execution. Just work in the background, and then we started to reach to a lot of business owners. Quite frankly, we have few different deals. We were very close, but they fell through for a variety of reasons, and not always it was depending on us. But then eventually we went to the transport business, and then we discovered something called recurring revenue. And we decided to pursue this. This all based on 2-3 modules from Volter course from Ultimate Investors. No previous experience, never done anything to do with business acquisition. Quite frankly, at the time I wasn't talking to Volter as often as before. But we managed to push through legals and due diligence. And then a few days before completion, after I spoke to Volter, and I already had an idea that the way we structured this deal was not ideal, but he just confirmed everything I thought, and that helped us to restructure the deal. And on the 23rd of October 2024, we bought a small business with the revenue, and it was slightly under 700, but I just put 700,000. Just moving very quickly through the whole year from 11 months. At this stage, we achieved the growth in terms of revenue is actually over 200%, but it's around 200% from where we started. I will speak about this later on in the deal. We made a mistake in the way that we were quite motivated to buy the first business, and like I said, we're coming back and forth with a business acquisition when a lot of those deals fell through, and we bought this business very small. And I still remember Volter saying to me, oh my God, 700,000, you're gonna have an interesting year. I was like, what are you talking about? We're a business. Yes, and that comes down to being inexperienced in business acquisition. Previously, I have complete lack of awareness of any assets, of how this can impact the business. We bought the business, quite frankly, and which was the owner was the main asset. Everything was around the owner. And when we were buying this business, to be honest, again, I have zero idea that this could be a problem. Thinking, oh, it's fine, we can replace it straight away, and we start from zero. It would be absolutely amazing. Another thing is there was no system, lack of managerial structure whatsoever. And a month or two after we purchased the business, the chap who used to manage the business says he will leave. He will not work in the structure under new ownership. So this added a lot of stress on the top of that, because quite frankly, we bought the business with absolutely zero structure. There was the owner, and we just utilized the owner for the first 4.5 months. He was helping us as a transition to work pretty much. I bought myself a job. I joined the Volter course straight away because I thought, okay, this is a time when I need more knowledge. Result, yes, like I said, more control over the business. Suddenly I have people in the management. I know what's happening in the business. I have a completely improved communication in between the staff, between the management. And like I said, gossip and all of that has been eliminated completely. Everybody's being voiced, can express themselves, improving recruitment. Like I said, from February to April, we hired 2-3 drivers. Since we started to work with recruitment and AI, within 2 months, we hired 20 people, and they all stay with us, and they're absolutely fantastic. It's a completely different case right now. Yes, as you know, guys, we grow. The company is three times bigger than it was in October last year. We went from 5 to 30 staff members. Our fleet is from 5 to, we now have 15 buses. But like I said, our buses are big. They're very expensive. So it's not just a small car. It's £250,000 or £300,000 asset each. And might look small, but when it comes to the capacity and carrying people, it's actually quite a lot. Yeah, our revenue at the moment, as we speak, to all the data we have from the summer, we're aiming for around 2,150,000. Yet we expect a bit more. The reason behind this, we only implemented all the buses and everything during the summer, which again, we are not known to local environment when it comes to us suddenly expanding. And we, for example, in June, I don't remember exactly how much we made, but we made almost 90% more in August, just simply by people realizing we suddenly have a lot more assets. We, again, when it comes to recurring revenue, we heavily expanded on that, because I recognize that this is a backbone of the business. And to be honest with you, this really helps us grow as well, because this money comes, recurring revenue equals around 2/3 of the business money. And this comes every single month. Every single month I have this money, no matter what. And that's, again, creates some space and time for me to work on the business and to try to improve it in terms of operations and communications. Best learning and takeaways. Please, I know you won't do this, but do not buy small business. I tell you guys, I was motivated, I'll be honest with you, in terms of kind of / desperate. And what really convinced me to buy this business is the recurring revenue. But I bought myself job. And like I said, for the first 3-6 months, it was a hard work. It is only now, with the last 3 months, I start to have a breather, have some travel time, space. To be honest, I've done more on the business in the last 3 months than the whole year. It's only because I started to have some more time. I implemented a few things, but I was just saying to Lisa, my business partner, if we would buy this business at the stage, even it is right now, we will have a different start. I said, Lisa, sometimes send me those companies with like £1 million revenue and stuff. Like, don't even talk to me. She's like, no. Utilize other people's knowledge and networking. I'll give you guys some examples. When I went randomly to the school, I went for the expo with the buses to Birmingham and get some contacts, which helps us to get more buses and discounts. Masterminds, I will get to that in a second. Start from equilibrium, not from magnifying stage. I think it's just like kind of straightforward, yet there is a reason why this is implemented in that order, not different one. Because if that's the case, it's almost like growing this way, and this just tips over at any point. And yes, I think it all brings us down to having a mentor, or guidance, or some sort of group of people. As in our case, is Mastermind with Volter. When I said that to Volter, I think a few months ago, I think in May. When I come here, it's almost like, yes, I learn a lot, but it also helps me to get me with my mindset to get me back on track, because I was so lost sometimes in this kind of micromanaging and doing the work. And I was coming here, and I still remember coming back home, and my wife is like, "You just seems a little bit different." I said, "Why?" I said, no, you're like $1 million. And I thought, initially thought, oh yeah, because he loves me. But she said, no, you're confident. I feel like you're less stressed. And I started to think about this. And the reason why I was is because suddenly like I get back to track and I can see the big picture again. I can see, okay, directions, and the sense of directions is so important. I can't tell you guys. It's even now, coming here and listen to you guys, so amazing stories, those multi-million deals and etc. It changes my view on anything I'm doing in the future. Even now, I have already ideas what I'm going to implement. Suddenly, the little problems inside the business are not as significant because I understand the big journey. And what is next? We are planning to continue to grow organically now with more assets and more drivers, and slowly implement more assets and acquiring more assets in terms of buses in the future to get more long-term contracts. We need to, when it comes to the business itself, we need to change obviously the residency where we are for the bigger yard because it's quite limited. Yet we are planning to grow through acquisition to get another provider, and preferably in different city adjacent to ours, because that again opens a market for all private schools. And we're planning to implement everything what we've done with Charlie's in Ipswich to, let's say, in Colchester or Cambridge. I want to also add a different business model. So as I said, mentioned before, when I said buy a different yard, is to create a very professional yard with all the things which are needed for transport operator, and then lease them to our competitors or people who work with us together, and use the money from the lease to basically pay the mortgage at free basis. The aim to exit is by around 2028, maybe 2029. Currently our profit will be circa 800, maybe 900,000. The profit we need is around 3.5 million. So we're not that far, considering that we started with 200,000 profit. So our profit went 4 times fold, nearly 4.5 in just 1 year, with the multiplier of 7 and exiting with 24 million, and capital event is at 24 million. As Walter said before, and we discussed it today, the goal is to invest in real estate and build all operations around there. And to be honest, we'll continue with business acquisitions, because this is something, as Walter said to me a couple of years ago, the fastest way you can grow and make money is through business acquisition. So we stick to that. To be honest, in 11 months, when it comes in terms of income, we've done more than in 5 years in property. I mean, by far, to be honest with you, and 100% we're going to continue. Once we exit, to be honest with you, me personally, what I want to do, I want to give back to community, and let's say, and eventually at some point, once I'm more educated and I have some capital behind him, and perhaps I would establish some sort of non-profit foundation when I help people who want and are willing to change their lives. And I already had the concept about this before, because to be honest with you, this is, as a helping people and as a changing people's life, for me personally, in a big picture, was always the most important. That's why I went to med school and things like that. So I think doing this and ending up eventually having some sort of organization which helps people. Obviously, I have a whole structure behind this in terms of exams to get people who really need. It's not about money. It's about the most motivated people. And hopefully, by the time I'm 45, in the next 7-8 years, that's where really, ideally, I would like to, end up. And this is all thanks to, business acquisition, and then everything we all started to do over the last 4 months. Yeah.